So you asked more questions. I've got some more answers for you. Oddly enough, there's actually someone that was upset about the number of SundaeSwap videos that I've been doing, but the community spoke up and said how they feel about that and said they like the updates I'm giving, so I'll give you another one. Look, as long as there's questions that people have and they want them answered, I'm going to do videos, and not just about SundaeSwap, about whatever the specific project is. Certainly one that I've invested time in to get to understand. So if you look right here, you can see the ISO dashboard for voting. As you can see, we are under 1 day left to vote. Now, you do not have to vote. It's completely up to you. If you do not vote, it's not going to affect anything else with SundaeSwap, but you won't get to choose the 2 SPOs of your choice. So imagine if you don't vote, you're not really worried about that anyway. So did want to make that clear, because that's one question that several people had. Do they have to vote to participate in SundaeSwap overall? The answer to that is no, you do not have to. In regards to the wallet, there was a lot of confusion about will some of the wallets work, because when the voting started, a lot of people noticed that they could not connect their wallet with ease, whether it be the Yoroi or other options, not the Nami wallet. But the Nami wallet, right there, you could go onto the dashboard and it connected, click the little box, and boom, you're able to vote. But for that, you could still vote with the Yoroi. It was just another step in the process, or a couple steps rather. But what you do when you go down in the dashboard, once you put in the first option and the second option for a stake pool operator, you then would see something pop up that allows you to vote using other wallets. So you are able to do that. So I wanted to clarify that. But to that point, I'm not going to lie, it does give me some concern. Only reason why is I've used Yoroi wallet for a long time. I really like it. So my idea was to go with the Yoroi wallet throughout the whole process. Everything SundaeSwap. But now looking at it, seeing how the Nami wallet does just seem to be a little bit more ahead, because these other wallets don't have the DApp connection yet. And they are working on that. But I did kind of have a concern. Is it going to be ready in time for launch? And by the way, I thought that it would launch possibly by the 17th. I'm not so sure that I think that's going to happen now. The reason for that was I figured they would probably, and that was prior to the voting, you'd be able to use the Yoroi wallet and these other wallets just as easy, but you couldn't. So I don't know that they're going to launch this project before having the integration complete. That remains to be seen. But with the wallet, what I do want to point out is I went ahead and got a Nami wallet set up. The reason for that is I just want to make sure I'm ready. Now, I'd like to stick with Yoroi, but once I saw how easy it was to connect with the Nami wallet, although I did not have one set up to vote, I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and just set up a Nami wallet to have it ready so that I can choose the right option when that time comes. So consider the wallet, do what's best for you, but I don't think it hurts to have a Nami wallet created and just have it ready in case. But I do believe they will get the DApp connections for the Yoroi and other wallets ready before they launch SundaeSwap. Another question that has been asked is about when the ISO and the DEX will launch. So let me bring clarity to that. They are going to launch at the same time. But what you also need to realize is the ISO is not on the DEX. The ISO is its separate thing. So you go to the ISO dashboard, and at that time, you'll be able to participate in the ISO. And then the DEX will be a DEX just like Uniswap. So they're not in the same place, but they'll both be ready at the same time. That brings me to another conclusion. And you do what's good for you. I am not going to be concerned up front with the ISO. Now, while I do at this point plan to participate, what I realize is if they're ready at the same time, I don't plan to be fooling around with the ISO at the same time I'm trying to buy Sunday tokens on the DEX with my ADA. So ultimately, if I do keep the same mind frame and I'm going to buy into it from the jump, I'll do that. Then I'll go over to the ISO dashboard with whatever amount of ADA I have designated for that, and then participate in the ISO. So they're not in the same place. So unless you can use one hand to do one and one hand to do the other, just decide what's most important to you from the jump. Although I do think going on the DEX and buying first is more critical, in my opinion, than the ISO, because I can simply go over to the ISO and get in at that point. Make sure to take that into account. People have asked how many rewards they will get of Sunday tokens. So as far as how many rewards you'll get, that is very hard to say. The reason why is we don't know how many people will participate. What we do know, and this is a correction from one of my earlier videos, because I think I may have been off on how that total number of rewards, what percentage it would be. So it is the percentage of the overall tokens, which someone in the video in the comments did mention of that video. So it will be 100 million tokens that are rewarded for the ISO over 5 epochs. By the way, someone also corrected the way I say epochs. Thank you. I'm just used to saying epochs. So I'm going to do a scenario, 3 scenarios actually, just breaking down how many tokens you would get per specific amounts of ADA put into the ISO. So we know that the reward is 100 million Sunday tokens. So if 1 million ADA were put into the ISO, that means each ADA, the reward would be 100 Sunday tokens. That would be over 5 epochs, coming out to 20 Sunday tokens per epoch. That's if 1 million ADA were put into the ISO. At 5 million tokens, that's ADA put into the ISO, that number is going to be 20. So you would then receive 20 Sunday tokens per ADA. That's going to be broken down over 5 epochs, and that is going to give you 4 tokens, 4 SundaeSwap tokens as your reward per epoch, but 20 per ADA overall. And for our third scenario, let's say 10 million ADA are put into the ISO. That is going to come out to 10 SundaeSwap token rewards per ADA. You can break that down into 5 epochs and you get 2 Sunday tokens per epoch. I have no clue what that number put into the ISO is going to be, but I wanted to do those 3 scenarios just to give you kind of a range to play with. It remains to be seen how many people will go in, but I do anticipate a lot of participation. Also, something of note, just to clarify this, when you participate in the ISO, you can stake ADA and get ADA rewards plus Sunday. When you provide liquidity in a liquidity pool, ADA/Sunday, you will get Sunday. There is also the option to swap ADA for the Sunday. Those are the 3 announced ways to get the coins from the start. When you participate in the ISO, you don't only get Sunday as a reward, you get ADA as a reward as well. The reason for that is the ISO is a stake pool just the same way that the Cardano stake pools are right now. So it's just separate for the ISO. So you're still staking your Cardano, so you receive those rewards the same way you would if you're staked already. It just is with these specific stake pools, you receive Sunday on top of it, specifically for this project. So I hope that brings clarity. You will receive your regular ADA that you would as if it's staked in a stake pool right now. And on top of that, you'll get the Sunday rewards. But it has to be staked in one of those 30 chosen stake pools. So I hope that provides some clarity. So an epoch with ADA is 5 days. Another question asked was, how long is the ISO going to last? It's going to last 25 days, 5 epochs, 5 days per epoch. So that is how long it will last. It was also mentioned that there will be well control. That is a question that someone asked. They asked, did I know anything about how that well control would work? Well, I can tell you this. The team doesn't have everything specifically spelled out. And what they did say is they're not going to tell people how the well control will work until after. And there's a reason for that. For those of you all that don't know what well control is, well, first of all, you need to know what a well is. Wells are basically large bag holders that can kind of control the whole project from a token standpoint because they have so many of them. Now, this can lead to manipulation and different things like that. So how do they plan to control this? Well, a good thought on it is, although it's not exact, is once you get to a certain amount of Sunday through the ISO, then you will receive less rewards. So let's say somebody just has massive amounts. They'll reach that point, which anybody can reach, but after that, it's diminishing returns. The reason that's so important in the ISO is if most of these tokens went to a few whales, think about it, that's 100 million tokens. That is a big amount, honestly, in terms of the overall supply when you think about it that way. And it would really give them control. So they really want to control that through the ISO. So that is what the thoughts are on well control. And the reason they're not going to tell anybody until afterwards is so that there'll be no game playing. Because if they tell you how it's going to work, people will find a way to manipulate it. So that's the answer to the well control. That's how they plan to solve it. We will see exactly how they do it after the ISO is launched and no one can play any games. There's not a cap on how many ADA you can put into the ISO. So that is the reason for that. Now, the other question was about impermanent loss. Now, as far as that, you'd be putting into the pool on the DEX equal parts of ADA and Sunday, and impermanent loss can happen. Now, several people ask, because I mentioned that in a previous video, can I explain that? And I did somewhat explain it, but I am going to put a link in the description. Click on that video. It's a nice illustration that should help you to understand impermanent loss. For the most part, if you have any other questions, hit me with a comment and I will do my best to explain it to you. But I really think that video is going to help you. So check out the video in the description on impermanent loss. That'll let you know. And you really, with impermanent loss, have to weigh your options to see what's best for you. Because it can be advantageous, but you really need to learn how to calculate that so you make sure, even with that loss, the fees that you're paid out do provide you some upside so you don't take a loss overall. I did hear that SundaeSwap is planning to somehow offer up yield farming. Now, I'm not sure quite how, but I don't think the team also has it exactly figured out, but that is something that they do want to offer in the future. I don't really know anything about it, but I did see that something that the team has mentioned. So to that point, we'll just have to see when it comes. So really, those are, for the most part, I think the questions that I was asked. I hope that, the time of you watching this video was useful. Like I said at the beginning, look, if people are asking, I'm going to try to answer the questions the best way I can. And if you think of any more, let me know. I'll continue to research. But that is about it for now. A lot of people have different strategies on what they're going to do when it comes to this project. Ultimately, for me, I'm really digging in, looking at these various projects that are similar on other blockchains, whether it be Uniswap, PancakeSwap, and you can name tons of other ones. And I'm just going to see, okay, where is that valuation at? What do I think this valuation can go to? And even if somehow it started out at, we'll just say 100 million. I'm not saying it's going to do that, but I'm just giving you a hypothetical. In comparison to the others, knowing how big of a deal Cardano is, I asked myself, do I believe this project at that point could get to at least 1 billion? Well, when I look at the other ones, yeah, I do. That would be a 10x. Will I take a 10x? Gladly. You decide what's good for you. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Before you invest, always do your own research and seek the help of a professional, because crypto is crazy. But there's major opportunities. Make sure to do something for me that's absolutely free. Smash the like button. Leave a comment. It's always good for the YouTube algorithm. And I'm pretty sure most people will tell you I really do try to get back and comment back to you. Sometimes when some of you leave comments, for some reason, I can read part of it, but it won't let me reply. I try to go back and at you on a separate message. So if you see that, that is why. But sometimes I'm not able to. So if I'm not able to get back with you, that is not my intention. Sometimes for some reason, it just won't let me. I'm going to try to find out from YouTube what the deal is with that and hopefully get that fixed. Doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen sometimes. So I just want to make that clear. Thank you. Make sure to hit the bell for notification if you want to stay up to date on the latest videos that I drop. And I'll see you next time.